Hello, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Alfred Amuzu, and this is the Ghana Agenda for October 15, 2022. Today, we are talking to a very assiduous lady, a lady that works so hard. I would say she's one of the hardest workers that I've known, one of the hardest working ladies that I know who lives in the United States here. She happens to be the chairperson of the NDC USA. She's a doctorate student, a mother, and she has so many other qualifications and responsibilities that I'll let her get to talk to us about today. The person I'm talking about is Maame Aba Dadzie, the chairperson of the NDC. Let me bring her into the studio so we can start a conversation. If you haven't done so already, please share the link so that others who may be interested in this program can also join us and benefit from these discussions. Today, we are talking about the NDC USA Chapter. I know there's an election coming there and all kinds of guidelines, organizations, and messages being sent out there. And some of those are making members of the party ask various questions. And today's discussions would attempt to answer some of their questions. So stand by. I'll bring Maame in and we'll start a conversation. Let's take a quick break. All right, welcome to the show, Honorable Chairwoman or Chairperson. You don't like being called Chairwoman, so Honorable Chairman of the National Democratic Congress in the United States. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Comrade Alfred, for having me.
All right, so got an agenda. I'm actually Alfred, not Comrade. Just kidding. Anyway, so Maame, this is an interview we've been waiting for a very long time, and I think the timing is so perfect. And I'm saying that because I know there's so much going on in the party, but I started the show by telling people that you are one of the hardest workers that I know of in the United States. You have so many responsibilities. You are a mother. For me, the first time I met you was in Siena. I remember also that you organized something for the NDC in Ohio that I came to, and you were there cooking, taking care of people. So I see your passion for the party. But some people may not know you, or people may not know all the things you do behind the scene. But before we get into all that, I want you to introduce yourself to my listeners and viewers so they can get to know who Maame Aba Dadzie, the chairperson or the chairman of the NDC, is.
Thank you very much, Alfred. Once again, thank you for having me. Before I go on or proceed, I would like to greet all your listeners and your cherished viewers for joining in to listen to me this afternoon.
Okay.
I'm most grateful for you for inviting me to come and tell you about what I stand for and talk about the party here in the US. So greetings to you, all of you listening to me at this moment. Maame Aba, as most people call me, was born on a Thursday hot afternoon to a very hard-working couple, Mr. and Mrs. Dadzie. My mother, as we didn't call my mother mom. We called my mom auntie. Everybody in the community used to call her auntie. My mom's name is Auntie AC Nawa. Then it's Nawa because my mom has an Islamic background.
Okay.
Which most people don't know about me.
Right,
but my family is half Christian and half Islam. So my mom is Auntie AC Nawa. Although she has the last name as my dad, Dadzie, her Christian name is Mary AC Dadzie. But yes, married to my dad. But her local name is AC Nawa. It's an Islamic name. So when it comes to my family, most of my aunties and uncles do have Muslim's name. But my mom was a Christian. She didn't practice Islam.
Okay.
Or, yeah, she didn't practice Islam. And she was a very devoted Christian who believed in the values and principles of Christianity.
Okay.
And she had a Pentecostal and Methodist background.
Okay.
Yes. Both my mom and father were very disciplinarian. Yeah, you want to
I can see where the discipline and the hard work and responsibility, love and passion, compassion all came from. So, Mami, let me ask: are your parents still alive? Just so we can give them a shout out.
Unfortunately, this beautiful couple left me when I was at the final year at the University of Ghana.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Anyway, just a quick note or point to share with other people or the listeners that you were not even feeling well, but you made time for this interview, and we really appreciate that. We pray that you recover quickly from your ailments, and we are grateful for the time that we're about to have with you. So I know you were talking about your background quickly. Is there anything else you want to add to your upbringing? So basically, which community, where exactly did you grow up at? Was it in Accra, Kumasi, or where?
Actually, I want to finish up because my siblings are important to me.
Okay.
I want to say that I had, and go on to your question. Right. I had 6 siblings, 6 nice siblings.
Okay.
Unfortunately, 4 of them have passed away, leaving me and my older brother, who is also the firstborn. And I happen to be the last born, but the 3rd girl in the family. So in our family, I'm a Fanti. The Fanti, the 3rd born or the 3rd girl, consecutive girls. But 3-1 is called Mansa. Wow. So I am Mansa as well. So and it is believed that those ladies who are Mansas or girls who are Mansas are very strong, hardworking, and determined to do anything that they wish to do.
Good.
So back to your question, I had my basic, middle, and secondary education in the Sekondi Takoradi area where I grew up. It was after I finished Legon. After I finished secondary school, that is when I gained admission. Where I gained admission into
University of Ghana.
University of Ghana, where I majored in psychology and minored in nutrition. Most people don't know that I have a degree in nutrition from the University of Ghana.
Maybe I can testify to that because I benefited from some fufu and a few other things, how you and they were very nutritious. All right. Okay, good. I didn't know that prior to eating your food, but now that you say it, it makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, when you come to my home, I think that you have tasted the meal. So when you come, we have the Fanti culture. We practice it here. And all we do is welcome you to our home with food and drink. So delicious ones as well. Yes.
Okay. So you told us about your background. You lived in Sekondi Takoradi, gained admission to University of Ghana, studied psychology. And then what was your first job since when you got out of university? What was that first employment opportunity or where you actually broke your ice in terms of working? Where was that?
I did some work before I entered the university, but it wasn't anything major. But my first major job was when I graduated and I went to do my national service at the office of the president at the castle Osu. And I was fortunate enough to be hired by the office. So when we finished, I was honored to work at the office of the president during the Rawlings administration. That time, when I was hired, it was ex-President Rawlings who was in office. So I worked there.
So let me just go back on that a little bit. So you are saying that before you went to the university, you had opportunity to do your national service. This is after sixth form, right? You had the opportunity to do your national service in the office of the president. In that time, it was President Rawlings. That's what you're saying?
Not the national service before Legon. The national service I did before I went to the university. I did it in the Sekindi Takrady area at the regional office.
Okay.
It was a secretarial job that I did over there. Yeah. But when I graduated from Legon, that was when I went to work at the office of the president.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your experience working with the president. If you can do that for me, please.
Oh, it was a joy working at the office of the president, and I think that I was privileged. Like I said earlier, it's not everyone who is privileged enough to get opportunity to work in such a prestigious civil servant at that particular office. But I learned so much working for the late president in that capacity. Honestly, we were in charge of protocol, and we received every single dignitary that came to the country, including President Clinton, Gaddafi, all the presidents that visited during that time. We received them and make sure that everything was going. Every state function, meetings representing the office at major functions, and then planning it ahead of time was some of the things that I learned. So my managerial and organizational skills and being able to organize functions, that was where I learned it all from, because you have to be in tune and be able to organize a befitting state function.
Right.
And all the stuff that comes with it. So I'm privileged. I was privileged that time to be one of those who were in there.
Interesting.
And you do the schedules together with the office. And one of the things that I liked most was credentials. When I say credential, it means that every ambassador that come to the country will come and present their credentials. And you be the person to train the person, work the person through how to do it. And I think that it was a privilege and honor to have all these ambassadors go through the system smoothly without a hitch, because of your effort and with the team that we work with. So
interesting. I mean, this experience that you've just described is a dream of many. And I want to follow up with this question that everybody in politics, which I know, of course, you're the chairperson of NDC. You're in politics. Everybody in politics somehow has what we call a godfather, or was introduced by somebody into politics, or it has been influenced by another politician. Looking at your experience over the years and all the people you work for, who would you say is your political godfather, or as a politician, who would you say has had the most impact or influence on you?
Oh, thank you for that question. I must say that I'm part of the very few people who have had the opportunity, the privilege to gain a unique experience and extensive knowledge in politics with all the prominent members of our great party, including the late President Rawlings. May his soul rest in peace.
Peace, yeah.
The late Professor Evans Atta Mills, my own uncle. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the soon-to-come Messiah to rescue Ghana from the hands of the terrorist, incompetent, and insensitive president we currently have in Ghana, John Dramani Mahama. Mrs. Bedi Modudrusu, Professor Jane Nana Ajiman, all these fantastic and brilliant political icons have had and have played very instrumental role in my career, political career.
Okay.
I must say that Bedi Modudrusu is one of the greatest women who has greatly influenced my political career, and she is my mother.
Right.
So, Mom, I love you, and I always love you.
Thank you. I'm sure she's listening, and she will be pleased with everything you've done so far. So, talking about everything you've done so far, you are currently the chairperson or the chairman of the NDC USA. Tell me about the NDC USA. How are things going with the party or the chapter in the USA?
NDC USA happens to be one of the chapters of the external branches set by our party in the diaspora.
Okay.
And we happen to be the first party that was established in the diaspora, frankly to speak. And there were so many great men and women who came together in making sure that the party was established here in the US.
Right.
We have done so much. And if you can permit me to go on to say some of the things that we are responsible for in the US, if that is okay for you.
Sure. I was going to ask you your responsibilities, but also if you want to tell me as a chapter what you're responsible for and some of your achievements and the things you've done, not just necessarily you, but the chapter as a whole. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you for that. I just want our listeners to note something. That the foreign chapters of our great Akatamanso family was established for specific purposes, not only for us to just say we are NDC members in the diaspora, but there were three major reasons why we were established here in the diaspora. And like I indicated earlier, a lot of great senior comrades have come and go and they've done their part. But one responsibility is that the party here in the US and in the diaspora, so to speak, we are supposed to embark on membership recruitment. So membership recruitment here, I know most people will be asking why membership recruitment in the US.
Right. Yeah, especially because people in the US, unless they go home, they don't vote. So, yeah, why membership recruitment?
Yes, we don't have a voting right, but some do. Not everyone who has in the US or in the diaspora who doesn't have voting right. We do have voting right. But we recruit because, when we leave Ghana, we all come here to seek greener pastures and go to school, further our education, become experts in certain fields. So to speak, we are supposed to recruit members to be the backrock of the party in terms of expertise, technical skills, and technical know-how, artisans. What is better than coming here to learn things to get to be good at and then going back home to support the party or the country to develop. So that is why membership recruitment is very important, because it helps us to identify certain technical skills and expertise that we can use to support the party when it's in office. And then those ones, the brains that we get from outside, you know how people back home cherish those brains. So
Right.
that is why recruiting is very, very important and is key for the party.
Okay.
Number two thing is also is that we are supposed to ensure that we are providing high quality support for the party. I did indicate that we need support, technical skills, expertise, and certain type of skills and education to support the party. So that support, when identified, we are not supposed to let it go. We're supposed to be the brains, and certain initiatives need to be taken for the party. That is the support that they're going to derive from it. And the last thing is mobilization of resources. You know, me and you, without resources, even individuals, we cannot function.
Right.
Let alone a big political party like ours.
Right.
So we're supposed to mobilize resources financially to support the party, because everything that you do in this world, you need finance. You need funds to actually fund whatever we do to run the political party in Ghana. And you know, when our dollars or the pounds and dollars are sent home, you know how great and good it is. And when you melt it, it can do a whole lot.
It does all that. Yeah.
Mobilization, yes, mobilization of resources in terms of human capital and finances is great.
So with the finance part, can you expatiate on that a little bit? How are we doing that? What are the mechanisms in place for people? Because I want the listeners who may not have contributed to the NDC before to know the ways in which they can support the party. What mechanisms are in place for people to do that?
Thank you. That is a great question. Number one thing is that we embark on fundraisers.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, we do set up various apps that people can send the money through to our treasurer, Cash App, Zelle, any form. Then we do have PayPal also, and then direct deposit or transfer into the account that we do have. Some of the ways that somebody can support the party. And then dues payment, membership dues payment is very important because those in Ghana, you know, they pay 2 cedis a month.
Right.
We pay $10 a month.
Why don't we pay 2 cedis? Because $10, that's unfair, right?
You would say that is unfair.
Maybe even $2, right? Will be a deal if they are paying 2 cedis.
Honestly, I've heard, if you have to pay 2 cedis, I don't even know how many cents would 2 cedis be in this country.
Right.
But let's be fair to ourselves and honest to ourselves. Mm-hmm. Our currency in Ghana is completely different. And our work environment and the amount of pay that we receive here is different.
Right.
And since I said earlier that we are supposed to mobilize resources, both human capital and financial. We are the back rock, so to speak. So the money that we send back home is critical.
Right.
You know, and so that is why it was agreed. It's not like the party imposed on us that we should pay the $10 across the diaspora. It was agreed that amount that will be comfortable and convenient for all of us, and it was generally agreed. Me, when I took office, before I joined the party, it was $10. When I took office, it's still $10. It hasn't been increased. It's always been $10, and I think that is the means and people who were leaders before me thought that that was the way they can support the party. And if all of us should pay that $10, and the $10, I bet you everything does not go to Ghana.
Right.
It's only 30% that goes to Ghana. The rest is supposed to stay here to run the organization here. Only 30% is supposed to go to Ghana. So 30, not all of it. But even that,
right,
we don't pay. So the viewers listening to me, please do your best to pay your dues. It's $10 a month. But when you wait till 2 years, 3 years, it's really difficult to pay.
Yeah, it piles up and then it becomes a lot.
Piles up, yes. Right. But if you pay it, you make it conscious effort to pay it every month. It's easier because like $10 you can pay. But when it becomes a whole year, it's 120. And 120 is a lot.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
It becomes 2 years and it's $240.
That's $240.
360.
3 years, then 360, and that's when you actually feel it, right? So
you feel it because you have to pay your bills, and then you have to take 360 to go and pay dues.
Right. But the good part is, even if you pay 360, it's not like every month you have to pay 360, right? That may be just that one time that you have to do that, and it's on you too, right? You should be paying the $10. Like we said, pay the $10 because the issues that will require expenditure come up every day. It's not like they don't wait for 3 years to come, right? So yes, it's a good idea that people will pay their dues. Okay, I'll let you continue with your discussion of the chapter, and then when you finish on that, I want us to take a break so you can get some water to drink, relax, because I have a lot of questions coming up that we'll go into. So finish this and then let's take a quick break.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so with the branches, I think that we are about to have our elections.
That one will be my next question. So I want people to wait on that part. So just wrap up on some of the initiatives. Okay, people are supposed to do dues. What are people required to do as members of the party? How can someone join? And then we'll go into, and then when we come back from break, I want us to talk about the activities that the party have planned for the rest of the year. And we'll talk about even yourself, what are some of your achievements as the chairperson, any regrets, and so many more other questions that I have for you. So wrap up on responsibility of people, the party, supporting the party, and all the other things that even you do as the chairperson. What are some of your responsibilities? Then we come back and talk about the plans.
Yeah, so my responsibility are those ones that I laid out, that we have to embark on high quality support. We have to ensure that we are raising funds, and then we have to make sure that we are embarking on membership recruitment. When it comes to being a member, you just have to attend meetings. When you want to join, you have to identify a branch in the state.
Okay, when you say a branch, what does that mean? How many branches do we have in the state?
For now, we have 28 branches.
Okay.
And 19 of them are active. The other ones are not so active because we haven't inaugurated them. We are yet to integrate them. And once we integrate them, then we'll bring them into the category of active branches.
Okay.
So, and we have the policy of one branch, one state. So each state, we have a branch there. We are hoping that in the future or in the near future, we're going to open it up that where we can have multiple branches in
a state. Because some states are big, right? Like imagine having one branch in Texas, and Texas, Houston and Dallas are about 3 or 4 hours apart. So it can become problematic. So yes, I think that's a good initiative, and that should be a very much looked at.
Yes. Yeah, though currently, though we have the branches, we do have a policy for every 50 miles radius.
Okay.
There should be a cell.
Okay.
We don't anticipate that people will drive hours and hours and hours to come for meetings. So I'll use my state as an example. I live in the state of Ohio.
Okay.
We have a cell in Cincinnati. We have a cell in Athens. We have a cell in Cleveland. We have a cell in Toledo. So what we do is that they meet at their local cells.
Okay.
And we have the main branch in Columbus. So whoever, and then the main branch is as crazy as it may sound, but it's good for cohesion, building, partnership, connection with one another. We meet twice a month. It's crazy. But we all sat down and then said, okay, let's do this. So, shift people's schedules and all that. That is why we came up to join, because Ohio, we are fun branch and we like to party. So we can party it out. So we meet every other day. So everybody can be part of that processes. Okay. So every quarterly, we all come together as a branch, but they meet in their local level. But anyone who is around and you want to come to Columbus at the main branch to meet, whenever the meetings are scheduled, we send or the chairman will send the notice to them. It's not compulsory that you have to come, but they have to have that information that, the branch is meeting, And when we have something, when you don't have anything major and all that, we meet once a month. That is the third Sunday of the month that we meet. But currently, since last year, we've been meeting bi-weekly because of the reorganization, which I will talk about. So as a member, you are required to pay your dues. I said it already. You're supposed to attend meetings and get involved for you to be in good standing.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right.
And then we have the information of our various secretaries and stuff on our YouTube page. No, not the YouTube page, Facebook page.
Right. Okay.
Yes, I know you are privy to our.
Yes, I definitely am.
Facebook account and our social media handles also. Yes. So I welcome everyone to join us. We are currently registering people, so join.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Let's take a quick break so we can get some water in the system as we continue to listen to you and your rich background from working all the way from the office of the president during the Rawlings time to now leading the NDC USA Chapter. We'll be right back.
Are you 65 years or older? Are you 65 years or older? Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for sticking around. I've been listening to Maame, and this is somebody I've known for the last 3-4 years, but I think I'm learning so much more. I'm beginning to know all the hard work she's been doing behind the scene that never actually rises up to the surface. And I'm sure you are doing the same. Maame, let me ask you, I think there's an elephant in the room, which is that the NDC is in a lot of let me put it this way: there are a lot of events that are going to unfold between now and the end of the year. My understanding is there has been a guidelines that has been developed and distributed. So walk me through from where we are today, which is the 15th of October. What are some of the planned activities that the party will be going through between now and December at the US chapter?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. From now till the end of December, you are right. There has been a lot of activities that has been planned by the party.
Okay.
And not just now, since last year. We were tasked to embark on re-registration, reorganization.
Okay.
And so every branch is supposed to embark on that effort, where all members in the US is supposed to re-register.
Okay.
And get their membership ID, because we are organizing for us, number one, for the upcoming elections, and then also number two, get ourselves ready in case the ROPA is implemented. We don't know, because this government in power, they can do anything. So
Right.
it's up to us to get ourselves ready and prepared for ROPA when they do implement it. So
Right.
reorganization that we've embarked on since last year is very, very important that we do. So everyone listening to me, if you're a member, please get yourself registered. Don't leave yourself out of this process.
Right.
It's important. And then number two also is that we are going to do same because we are going to have our branch in the chapter elections.
Okay.
You rightly indicated. Last month, we received our guidelines for the branch election, not the chapter one, though.
Right.
People are saying that, oh, there's no information out there about the chapter elections.
Elections, yeah.
We don't have the information to share.
Okay.
I'm just pleading with all of you, all members, that please bear with us. We are supposed to get the branch elections done before we can proceed to the chapter.
So for somebody who's listening, who's not a member, what does that mean? What is the difference between these two elections? There's a branch election, there's a chapter election. What are we? I'm confused. What is that? What is the difference?
The difference, good question. The difference is that the branches are the various states that we have.
Okay.
Let's say you are in Virginia, right? Our branch is DC Metro. So DC Metro is a branch.
Okay.
And all the branches from all these various states come together to form the chapter.
Okay.
You see, so that is over here in the US, the chapter is the mother umbrella of the branches. So if you are a member of a branch, it qualifies you to become a chapter member, because we are the grassroots. In the US, the branches and the cells are our grassroots.
Right.
So that is the difference. The branch and then the chapter. Chapter comprises of all branches who come together to form it.
Okay. So currently, you're saying the first set of elections that would take place will be the branch elections. When are these coming off?
Thank you. The branch elections, I think that a lot of meetings have been going on behind the scenes. with the branch and chapter leadership. And at our last meeting about 2 weeks ago, we were supposed, actually the chapter was supposed to have come up with the date or the timetable, but as democratic as we are, with at the meeting, executive level, we agreed that we should give the branches the leeway to come up with their own date that they're going to have the elections. But ultimately, everyone is supposed to have their elections probably by the end of October. But yeah, by the end of October, unless something critical happens or serious happens, that branch cannot have their elections, and then they can seek special permission. I'm not saying that they should, but critical, that should be the key. Something that will impede them from not having impede their way from having the elections. So by the end of this month, we expect that almost all the branches should have their elections. So the guidelines, what to do, the secretary has sent a lot of memo to the branches, what is required of them, the timetable that they have to develop, and then the register, what is the most important thing for.
So give us some highlights from that guidelines. What are some of the key things that the branches should be aware of that has been included in the guidelines?
Number one is the register. Number two, dues payment. Members in good standing who can contest for elections and who is eligible voter. The cutoff point for somebody who joined the party to be able to have a voting right. Setting up of local election committee.
Okay.
And working together with the chapter election committee, and then the vetting also the vetting also. These are the main
of the candidates.
Yeah, the vetting of those who will be contesting, picking up nomination forms to actually put themselves up to contest for the various positions. So these are the main highlights of the guidelines, and it stipulates who qualify to be a candidate and who qualify to be a voter. And so many things, that something that is really like wobbling in the minds of most of our members are the qualification to vote, having the voting right. There was a clause that was put in, and I know we have received the updated one. And
is that the one we are calling the controversial clause?
Yes, that people were like, why should I pay 2 years to vote when I joined the party maybe a month ago or 2 months ago? Why should I? That is not what he's saying. And I think the new guidelines, updated one that just came in that we circulated, actually correct some of those impressions. What it is that, let's say you are being in the party. I'm going to use you as an example. You'll be in the party for 4 years. So you are required to pay only 2 years to qualify to vote.
Right.
They took into consideration the hardship brought to us by
COVID-19.
Otherwise, we're going to be like pay 4 years before you qualify to vote. So they took into account. So they said if you've been here 2+ years, you have to pay 2 years. If you've been here less than 2 years, you don't have to pay 2 years. Let's say you joined the party maybe last year, September. You are required to pay last year from September till October this month to qualify to vote. The cutoff point for people to vote, to qualify to vote, is June 30th of this year, 2022.
Right.
So if you registered by the end of June 30th, by the end of June 2022, you are qualified to vote. And you are only required to pay your dues from June to October, which is 4 months.
Right.
So June, July, August, September, October, that is 5 months anyway. People were requesting for 6 months, but they got 5 months. So that is a reduction for the advocacy that we did and the various petitions that people put in place. You know, women, we are mothers, so we take care of our own. I listen to the cry, or we listen to the cry of our branches, and then we went back and said, please, it's hard. We are in the US, all right, but things are hard. Things are difficult for people. If you make a blanket 2 years for everyone, it's not everyone who can pay. So please modify it. And they listened, and they have modified. And so we have notified our branches. So if you join this year, let's say January, so you have to pay from January to October, which is 10 months. So if you join in March, you have to pay from March to October, which is 7 months.
Right.
You know, so it goes like that. We are not supposed to pay 2 years as everyone initially thought. They have listened to us and they've modified it. And like I said, mothers knows best how to care for their children. And having a woman as the chairman, what is more important than that?
All right,
let's what we want to get.
Absolutely. So having woman as your chairman, what can be better than that? Have you decided to run for the chairmanship position when it comes up again this year?
I think that
if you have, I want this to be the show that you break it on. So we are waiting. Break the news.
I think that I want to say that I will say that I indicated earlier that
if you're still thinking about it, it's fine. You know, I'm sure you have a team of people you need to consult and make sure it's the right thing to do going forward. So you don't have to tell me, but if the decision is made, of course, let me know.
The thing is that I have not, I had indicated earlier that we are supposed to go for the branch elections first before anything else is done.
Okay.
So as we speak here, as I sit here, the nominations have not been open yet
for the chapter elections. Yes.
Yes. The nominations have not been open yet. So if it is open, then we take from there. But right now, my focus is organizing the branch elections. Right now, my focus is organizing the branch elections, and at the point that we do have the opportunity to pick up nominations, I will be able to at that time say that I'm going or not. But as we sit here, I can say that I am very, very passionate, very determined, and very visionary person.
Okay.
And so I think all of that will come into play when the time comes.
Okay, that's a good answer. You are very good. You've mastered the political skills very well. In other words, waiting for the appropriate time to actually disclose what your next move would be. Okay. So we discussed, the chapter, the type of elections or the activities coming is there any other activity beyond the elections that you want to touch on before we go to the next thing? Because I like to hear some very important question, and I wait and ask that. But is there any other thing you want to touch on as far as activities planned for the year are concerned?
The activities planned for the year is mostly after the branch elections. We are supposed to go on to the chapter elections, which we don't have the guidelines yet. But these are the major ones. And then we go and join our national leadership to take part of the national elections that will happen in Ghana as well. So for now, what is ahead of us is that. But currently, alongside that, we want to do certain fundraisers because 2024 is coming. We, the executive, have discussed, and we want to embark on a fundraiser towards the 2022. We want to early on recruit party agents, and then also build up our IT team. We'll put a team of them together, and God willing, we'll be able to do so.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's take a quick break. It wouldn't last for even 30 seconds. But when we come back, think about this question. What has been some of your achievements, personal achievements as the chapter lead or the chapter chairman? And what are some of your regrets? So I want to hear your achievements, the things that you do that you did that you're so proud of, and the things that you could have done a little better. And then we'll talk about the rest later. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
All right. So your team just indicated to me that, we are running out of time for you because you have other activities planned that you have to go to. There are a few questions in the chats. I don't know if we'll be able to make it to all those questions, but I want to be able to ask my last two before I, let you go, because I think I only have 5 or 6 minutes or so with you. So like I was saying, what are some of the things that you did as the chairperson that you are so proud of? And when you're done with that, I also want you to tell me what are some that you think, when given the second chance, you would do better, or you could have done better?
Thank you very much, Alfred. You don't want me to call you comrade, so I'm going to call you Alfred.
Right. It's okay.
Yeah, as a chairperson, we have been able to actually mobilize funds
Mm-hmm.
to support our party.
Right.
And I know a lot has been said about this administration doing nothing. But I must indicate that our leadership back home recognize that NDC USA has brought some vigor, vim, enthusiasm, and energy into the party. And they have mentioned that this current administration has made the leadership to realize and recognize or actualize the reason why the foreign chapters were established. One are the days where all they hear is that they are coming to settle disputes and fight and all that, but leading to before and leading to 2020 elections, we organize ourselves and raise the biggest funds ever that has ever happened at this chapter to support our party. We supported them during the COVID era. We supported during the registration, during the voting, and after, when the party went to court, we supported them with the legal fee. It has never happened. It's unprecedented. This executive, I'm not blowing my horn, but I think that this executive need to be recommended for the yeoman's job that they've done. It's not easy being here in the United States and be involved in this organization, but the selfless act that they've put together, the determination to ensure that this chapter continue to be on the map and be the number one status that we have been or we're supposed to be. You know, before this, we did not have any relevance.
Right.
This administration, we brought the relevance of NDC USA back, where we are now recognized. So many of our leadership and big shots coming to the US, they didn't used to associate themselves. They didn't even want to be known that they are here. So they come and quickly, quietly, and they go. But right now, everyone is grabbing to associate themselves with the goodies, with NDC USA. They want to meet us. They want to do things with us because of the leadership the current administration have provided in bringing the relevance of NDC USA back. So we don't even have to go and call anyone. They are rather reaching out. We want to meet you. We want to come to the US. What should we do? And all that. So these are administration, if not all. You know, during the 2020 election, too, we did organize ourselves to go back home to help with the campaign. You know, to help with the campaign, we did come up with, and some of our campaign message was to adapt a branch and constituency. And actually, most people don't know that that concept came from NDC USA.
Oh,
We
interesting.
went to the Accra with my executives. We went and took the party leadership and our daddy, John Dramani Mahama. And so the idea of adapt a branch and adapt the constituency policy to them. And God being so good, it was embraced. And when the our former president, our daddy and leader accepted the concept, you see how it went viral and it did wonders. So the concept of adapt a branch, adapt a constituency came from NDC USA and my team. And one person that was a part of it, and she's no longer with us, that breaks my heart, Jennifer Namfuri, did an awesome job when we went presenting our adapt the branch, adapt the constituency, and she used her own branch or constituency up north as an example during that process, and that I know touched the then international relations director and the general secretary so much, and they took care up on it. They went to the north together to visit those constituencies. So we encourage every branch to adapt the constituency and individuals to adapt branches. And I think that is a mark that everyone should know that NDC USA, we did an awesome job making sure that we did embark on adapt a branch, adapt a constituency. And then also my team, we sat down and we thought about the fact that everyone said they have supported the party one way or the other for many years, but they have nothing to show for. Nobody has recognized them. So we sat down and said, we need to do something as a team. During our term of office, we need to make sure that everybody feel appreciated and everybody feel welcome so they can do more for the party.
Right.
We proposed that to our leadership back home, they agreed. So we developed certificates, various certificates. We had a mini conference where everyone was recognized with a certificate of appreciation from the time that the party was inception of the party to current. Everybody who has worked for the party got appreciation certificate one way or the other. Most of them I did not know, but we did our research, and one of them was somebody, former chairman Ebi Connie. He wasn't here. He didn't even know him, but his certificate. Those of them who are not here currently in the US will send their certificate back home, and he went to the office during FEC meeting to receive his award. Even those who were dead, we recognize them, and the families received those award and recognition. They went to the head office during FEC meeting to receive that award.
Right.
And it beat my mind, and for me to hear that he passed on, I didn't get to meet him though, but he has passed on this year. So, but we were able to recognize his effort, the input he put, his labor that he labored for the party here in the US, and many were recognized for their effort.
So you mentioned your team. I know this job is not something one person can do. So I'm sure you have a fantastic team behind you. Who are some of the key members of your team that you would like to recognize in this interview and give a shout out to?
My team members, I think that I want to talk about my team, is the executives. You know, the executives that we work with.
Right.
We have a secretary, your own friend and brother, Mr. Steve there.
Yes, sir.
He's my friend, my brother, a comrade, and he's an awesome secretary that I can ever have, or the chapter can ever have.
Right.
And I know he has declared intention that he's not going to run again, and I'm going to miss him so dearly. Working with him has been an amazing journey.
Right.
He is very dependable when it comes to the things of the party. Steve I call him at all times when there's something. Midnight, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., or he'll say, Madam, please, can you let me sleep? Then I will say, we need to discuss. You know, we need to discuss. And then he will wake up unwillingly. And then we will sit on the phone for 2-3 hours. He said, Madam, now I want to go to sleep. My wife, and I said, okay, your wife understands. So I have 5 vice chairs, 5 of them. And every one of them, we have divided the U.S. into 5 geographical regions, and every one of them is responsible for one to ensure that the branches within that specific geographic region, they take care of it. And so all of them play certain type of role. We do have Atuesel, Dr. Quay, Samalasino, Alexander the third, and then we have John Deere. Those are the 5 vice chairs. Then we do have the chapter organizer, Comrade Ivan Sasibe. We do have the women's organizer, Janet Wilson. We do have the youth organizer, Isa Abudu and his deputy, Wofayao. And the women's organizer division is Hajia Hanatu Cash. And then we do have the financial secretary, MJ Lowell. We do have the external and internal officer, Professor Desire Anka. Who am I missing? Please pardon me. There are a lot of them.
You understand, even if you miss them at this point.
Everyone who the well-meaning people at the chapter, from the branch level all the way, they do support our effort, because without the branches, we cannot do anything as a chapter. So I big shout out to all my branch executive, the chairman, the secretary, all of you. I love you all. Over the past 4 years, you have been my rock. And I know we'll continue to excel and make the party proud in the US. So shout out to all my branch leadership. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for that. I think the last piece of that question was whether there's something that you think you would have done better, or something that is not well done from your standpoint, that you think could have been done better.
Thank you for that question. With the amazing job that we've done as a chapter. And from the reconciliation effort, when if there's time, I think I'll talk about that later.
Right.
If there's time for that, the reconciliation effort from the coalition to we went to Atlanta to elect this current executive.
Right.
But my major regret is losing the 2020 election. I will not say regret though, but rather a missed opportunity.
Right.
For President Mahama to be elected for the second term as president in the 2020 election.
So you feel like you could have done more, or there's room for more to ensure that happened? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So having said that, we have learned a lesson, right? A great lesson from the 2020 election. That we have to do all we can with all our might, our energy, resources, and everything in ensuring that we protect the ballot box come 2024 election, to ensure that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the Messiah, to come to rescue Ghana, is elected overwhelmingly to form the next government in January.
All right. Okay.
And so my next regret, I know you are running out of time, but I need to say this is very important.
Okay.
Truly speaking, I regret not appointing a Zongo coordinator to mobilize and cater to the needs of our Muslim community in the US. I got to know that we have such a large number of Muslim community across the US recently. And I want to say that we will make sure that the next NDC USA Chapter administration has a Zongo caucus coordinator to cater for the needs of our Muslim or Islamic community, or Zongo community, as they call it in Ghana, and in which I have a background to.
Awesome. All right. At this point, I'm going to open the floor for you, and then tell me any other thing, any other insight that you perhaps I may not have asked you of, that you would like to share with us. Take your time, and if there's any other thing that you think you want to add to the conversations we've had today.
Yes, I want to say that and everyone listening that Ghana is at a crossroad.
Okay.
And we all need to work hard to ensure that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, as I said earlier, the soon to come Messiah, to rescue Ghana from this incompetent, insensitive, tyrant government, the hands of this group of people who are heartless, corrupt, and messing the country. That John Mahama, His Excellency, is voted for massively come 2024, because Ghana is in shackles. So it's in shackles, and the present government seems to be lazy They have no clue how to govern the country. So all of us, our effort, we need to stay united, come together, because with unity and oneness in thought, we can rescue Ghana and we can win this coming election overwhelmingly. So I encourage all Ghanaians who qualify to vote in 2024 election to obtain the Ghana card, number one, because without the Ghana card, you cannot obtain your voter's ID.
Registration.
So I encourage to register for the voter's ID. I encourage all Ghanaians to get their Ghana card and then get their voter's ID when it comes, so that we can send the elephant back to the bush where they belong. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So you got the message. Please get your Ghana card because the rule now is that you needed that in order to get your registration card. I think if you are new, I don't know if they're going to do a whole voter registration exercise again, but who knows? Anything can happen. So the key is get your Ghana card no matter what you do.
And can I say something?
Sure.
There is this thing going on that maybe they will come to the US and the diaspora to also register for the Ghana card so that they can implement ROPA and steal the election.
Right.
All of us need to be ready.
Okay.
Put our head together.
Right.
Ears on the ground.
Right.
So we can know when they are coming to do those registration and get our Ghana card and register as voters also in the diaspora in case ROPA is implemented. It's very important.
Right. So in other words, just be ready for any eventuality. Should the case arise that a voter registration drive is to be undertaken in the United States, you're encouraging everyone to, get up and participate to make sure they are registered and take advantage of the opportunity to vote massively for your candidate, in this case, John Dramani Mahama.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And I know my listeners and viewers are impressed with all your background, the hard work behind the scene, and all the details that you walk us through. I know you have a place here permanently. Anytime you are ready, available to come, I am ready for you. So just let me know and we'll bring you back to answer questions. We couldn't answer questions today because of time, and you have to go, and I also have other people joining me shortly to discuss the economy and other things. So thank you so much.
I want to say something before we go.
Sure.
Like you indicated, I will be available to do more because there's so much that I have to say, but the time did not permit me.
Sure.
So on that note, I want to say a big thank you to you.
Yep.
For this wonderful conversation and opportunity.
Right.
I'm indeed grateful to you and excited, grateful to your listeners and the viewers listening to us tonight. May the Almighty God richly bless you and your cherished listeners and all the comrades listening to me abundantly beyond their wildest imagination. And keep us all safe and healthy, strong, till the next time we have the opportunity to chat again. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much. That is Maame Aba Dadzie, the chairwoman of NDC, or the chairman of NDC USA Chapter. Very eloquent on the issues, gave us a huge insight into all the things that go on behind the scenes to bring us a party that is now currently recognized by all the officials in Ghana. And we are seeing that manifest in how they all troop to the United States to visit the chapter. And she's encouraging everybody to keep their ears on the ground. If there's a voter registration, please make sure you go and get yourself registered. Get your Ghana card, get yourself registered. Whatever gets thrown at us, just be ready for that. That 2024 is going to be a do or die, and John Dramani Mahama will be coming back. Thank you. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with my team. We'll be right back.
Are you 65 years or older? Good news. Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. It's true. For most people, your health insurance program increases as you grow older. That's why the state of Illinois has expanded its Medicaid health insurance program to everyone 65 and older, regardless of your immigration status. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, UAO, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. If you are 65 years and older, there's one thing we can all agree on. Your health and well-being is important. Whether you are a recent green card holder or retiree, asylee or without paper, you're now eligible for the Illinois Medicaid Health Insurance Program. Need help to apply? Contact United African Organization, WhatsApp, SMS, IL65 to 773-420-8976. Documents needed to apply: your proof of ID, your proof of address, and your proof of income.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. So you've heard the great interview I just had with Maame Aba Dadzie. That was great. I know there were so many comments, questions in the inbox, but she'll be coming back, and then I'm sure you can bring all those questions on. She talked about a lot. She talked about the fact that, you should get yourself registered, especially when that opportunity arises in the United States. What we are going to do now is switch over. I have a comment here coming from a Benerza, which says election 2024 is surely do or die. The coming back of NDC in 2024 stronger than appetite. All right, let me bring my brother, Lifetime Legacy on. Lifetime Legacy, welcome to the show. How are you today? Lifetime, I think you may have yourself on mute. Yes.
Yeah, Alfred, I'm doing well. Yourself?
Good. I'm doing wonderful. You've heard your chairwoman actually came and did a wonderful presentation. Any quick comments on what you've heard so far before we jump into our discussion about the economic outlook?
Alfred, I will first of all greet our audience who are watching and listening to us, including yourself. I also use this platform to send my deepest condolences to my brother, Ifa.
Yeah, we are going to do that. We are going to try to memorialize that today. So towards the end of the show, that will be one thing we concentrate on. So yes, go ahead.
Okay. So wherever he is, and we are with him in spirit. Now, coming back to the question you asked about my proud chair woman or chairperson for the USA NDC. Alfred, when I came to the United States 4 years ago, I was finding ways to join the group. I contacted one person to assist me in getting the this, and I never got a feedback from that fellow.
Right.
I persisted. When my effort got to her attention, the speed at which my chairperson received me and also went ahead to make sure I get all the information that I need to be a legit member of the party over here. She did them. One thing which for me amazed me about her, which I'm going to share, is there was a party school organized in Atlanta and I went.
Right.
Her humility, her humility, her humility is so outstanding. At the normal Ghanaian attitude, you would have expected her to sit in her chair and be ordering people to be to the service of us. But that is not what she did.
Right.
She was all over. Even when we were supposed to eat, she had to move the food from one person to another and serve all of us to eat. She was also very conscious we all got a place to sleep for the program. And her legacy style is, for me, it's very amazing. And there have never been any program which is not even party concern or that is concerning an individual where you will not find her. So for me, as the accounts will normally say, they will food your panel, any piano. To it, she have done a lot, and I admire her leadership style. And if all the rank and file of the members in the US will agree with me, she should go on and post to continue the good work she's doing. Some of us, we are ready to support her in any other way she wants us to, or any capacity she wants us to play. But my biggest disappointment also, or sadness, is my senior brother, comrade Steve, who she just announced that decided he's not going to contest again. I don't know how that man, Uncle Steve, managed himself. I don't know if he have more than 24 hours within the day. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. And at the right time, I'll make time to sit him one-on-one to explain to me how he go about it. He's a man of multiple talent.
Right.
And he's always at the service of every organization that he belongs to and put out his best, do it so amazing. So I don't know for whatever reason why he have decided not to go in again. But if you listen to some of us and consider our view, we'll plead with him to come back. Some of us admire his style of secretariatship, the leadership role he always play, always ready to listen. And there have never been a single time where there is a program or a listen that you will never find him. He's always there in all platforms. So some of us who advocate that he consider his decision of not to contest again. So that is what I'll say about these two wonderful people.
All right. That's really good take on the interview we just listened to, and the announcement that our brother Steve will not be running again. Even though Maame herself didn't confirm whether she's running or not, I think she has to make that decision. I'm not sure if she's made it yet, but of course she's concentrating on the job or the current task at hand, which is to ensure that the branches have a successful election, and then she'll take it from there. That is what she said. Okay, so what I want us to discuss today, our next topic, is going to be about economic outlook, which is some issues that I don't know how we are going to get out of, especially our inflation problems and some of the things that the bank is doing. I was actually waiting for our brother from the MPP, Dan Amposa, to join us before I start the conversation. But I can start with you, and when he comes in, I would perhaps just go over some of the things I would be briefing out currently. So the Bank of Ghana, as we understand, has decided that it will continue to raise rates in coming months. So, for instance, on October 7th, they had the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, and they raised the policy rate by 250 basis points to a 24.5 in all efforts to stem the soaring inflationary pressure. I think I may have heard Dan coming in. So let me bring Dan in. Oh, yes. Welcome to the show, Dan. I was just saying, I would have to repeat myself when you get back, but thanks for hearing me without even being here and joining us promptly as you can. Thank you so much. How have you been? It's been a while since we had you on the show. Any new things that you want to share? Any new babies, or what's going on?
School life. And
All
school.
right. Oh, you're still in school? What are you going for now?
Doing some IT stuff.
PhD in information technology, digitization.
No, I don't do PhDs. I do more professional stuff. Huh?
I hear you.
Yeah. He's running away from the PhD because he have noticed that the PhD holder in his party has performed. Well, so
Lifetime Legacy is digging in quicker than I expected. Well, that's all good. Okay, guys. So today I want us to talk about issues coming up, especially with respect to our economy. And some of, especially the inflation aspect of it, and I don't know how we are going to actually get out of that. And then once we are done with that, we know that one of our brothers, Afa Mayor, who's been a mainstay of this program, always helping us discuss the issues, has lost his wife. And I believe today is the funeral. So we want to take our time to remember and pray with him and memorialize his wife as he sends him to eternity. So with that said, so I started the conversation around the expectation that the Bank of Ghana will continue to raise rates. Matter of fact, in their October 6th Monetary Policy Committee meeting, they've decided that they were going to raise the policy interest rate by 250 basis points to a 24.5 in an effort to stem soaring inflationary pressures and deep depreciation of the cedi against the US dollar. Despite monetary tightening, inflationary and deprecatory pressures will remain elevated until the first quarter of 2023 is the forecast we are getting. They're saying that although the Bank of Ghana has front-loaded rate increases to curb inflation, persistent external pressure continues to determine business confidence as well as raise borrowing costs and erode domestic savings. The latest rate rise follows a 300 basis point increase in August, despite which inflationary pressure has continued to soar. Inflation in Ghana today is at 33.9%. Matter of fact, that was in August. So by now, we should be looking at inflation around 35%. And this is all driven by domestic food, including cooking oil, housing, and utility prices, alongside rising fuel and transport costs. Inflation will remain high, giving Ghana's exposure to imports and high global commodity prices in the medium term. The Bank of Ghana faces the difficult task of trying to contain inflation and protect the exchange rate at the same time. This would be with us for some time, and I just don't know how we are going to get out of something like this. So let me start with you, Dan. Dan, we are in trouble. Do you agree? And how do we get out of this trouble?
We are in a big trouble.
Yeah.
Trouble. Yeah.
And we are not alone in this trouble. This is happening across the globe. I know the United States is having its own share. So let's put that in context and say that we are not the only ones. It's not like we as a country are screwing up to where we alone are in this much trouble. But it's just that ours is a bigger trouble than everywhere else I look. So how do we get out of this, Dan?
Yeah. So the thing with us, like has alluded us in a way, you know, your policy, you embark on your policy initiatives, and then you make some assumptions that will support that, and then all of a sudden those assumptions are thrown overboard.
Right.
So it becomes very difficult to now maneuver out. So the thing with Ghana was that, I mean, we had debt problems, right? So we embarked on borrowing long-term to pay short-term, high-cost debt. And
in the beginning of 2017, 2018 timeframe, we were using the Eurobond because we had the domestic, debts were like in very high interest rates. So we're getting lower interest rates, restructuring, and doing all these good things. Yeah.
So that was the strategy: swap short-term and then extend maturity. So we're restructuring our debt, borrowing from the capital market. While doing that, government was pursuing its policy objectives, its manifesto promises. So that particular approach is on the assumption that the capital market will continue to be there for you to do that, right?
Right.
So now, year after COVID, you come, everybody is trying to recoup. The system is a little bit squeezed, and unfortunately for you, as you were doing that, you still have the risk of high debt distress, right? The fact that you have risk doesn't mean the risk has materialized, right?
Right.
It's just an indicating to you that, hey, if you don't manage this properly and something happen, you could run into issues. Right. So we can give you a signal. You have high debt distress, whatever. Take risk, but the risk then had not materialized. Right. And because we were already at that level, COVID came. We didn't plan for it. Before that, we had done major expenditure like banking sector cleanup, done some other things. Whilst in the middle of that, trying to recover a bit from that, in the middle of that, COVID comes and hits you, bam. So something that you would not have pushed yourself into, COVID become more like an accelerator, right? It pushes you right into the hole, right? So that is some of the impact of COVID. And after coming out of that, now that assumption about let me go to the capital market and borrow is locked. So if you are locked out of that tool or vehicle of going to the capital market to borrow, logically your only option will be last resort, IMF. Right. So it's not surprising we are there, right? But the third thing is that even going to the IMF, even though the IMF is supposed to help you, there's a bigger divergence of,
The IMF wouldn't even give you more than $2 billion. They give you, they don't give you a lot, but they give you policy credibility. That's,
But in this era, if you give somebody policy credibility, there are other constraints around. Right. Policy credibility in a normal time is different from policy credibility in a crisis like we have now. You get what I'm trying to say? Especially, they can give you that policy credibility, right? But now look at what is going on in the world.
Right.
America economy has turned around a bit quicker, faster than the rest of the world. Right. And America federal government was very and said that we are going to increase interest rate as much as possible to what do you call it? Tamed inflation. Because inflation was becoming a concern here, right? For the first time in 30 years.
Yeah, because of all the stimulus packages they pump into the system, it's
going to hit the supply chain effects has lag. Yeah, the supply chain effects have lagging effects, right? So the supply chain has not fully come on, resumed or eased with all the bottlenecks. So all these have lagging effects that are now beginning to play out in the economy. And on top of that, the Fed said I'm increasing the rates because I don't want to have a situation where America will have to deal with inflation. I'd rather fight inflation and sacrifice everything else. And they start jacking up interest rates. And now the whole world is cramming. Go to Japan, go to all the other
interest rates are higher in the United States, it makes it an attractive investment destination.
Of course. It's a logical thing, right? And US economy is relatively stronger, it's relatively in a better position. Europe, there's a lot of uncertainty there because of the Ukrainian thing, all the other things going on. China, no matter how they are good, if America's rate is relatively better than China, people will move money share, right? And the rest of the world is not as strong. So the only attractive, very attractive place in the world now is the US economy in terms of getting high yields. Japan is struggling. So because of that, all the major currencies are suffering. They are losing value relative to the US. And the dollar is surging and surging and surging. The dollar has, against major other currencies. So you can imagine if the pound is struggling, the yen is struggling, the euro is struggling, then your city that have been struggling from when God knows, it will be at the mercy of the dollar, you know. So it's not surprising our city is going that far. The sad thing is that it's not going to end now. It's going to continue until the Fed puts some brakes on what they're doing. And because everybody and at one level they begin to feel the pinch, we were vulnerable already to the dollar, right? So we will feel the pinch from the early stages. Others will feel the pain when the rates probably go up a little bit more. And I think that others are beginning to feel the pinch now. And the whole world is beginning to say that, hey, America, the way you are going to cause problems to all of us. And now they are beginning to want to talk America into it to say, hey, consider the rest of the world. Don't just be selfish and just consider your own domestic situation. As to whether that will work, whether there will be global coordination, I doubt, because the US Fed has made it clear that, hey, we are going to increase this rate. So Ghana, we are in for a long ride. We don't have billions of dollars to support our city. We don't have that. So if even the IMF brings us,
what do we do? Do we do an import control? But hold our thoughts. I want to bring Lifetime in, and then I want you to think about. Dan, I want you to think about how do we get out of this? Do we do import control? Do we go back to Operation Feed Yourself? What plausible solutions can we entertain this time to curb the issues we are in? But let me bring in Lifetime while you are thinking about that. Lifetime, a lot of people say that we were tinkering at the edges, and some of this should have been expected. You know, even at the point when it was obvious that we were heading for trouble, the administration was in denial. Is that the camp that you belong to? And sorry, I don't know if you heard me this whole time.
Yeah, the tail end of your question, I couldn't get it.
I was saying that if you belong to the camp that thinks, you know, there was denial all this while, even at the time when we were, you know, heading into trouble, the administration seemed to think that, oh, by the way, our debt is okay, we don't have to go to the IMF. They deny until the end. If you belong to that camp, what are your reasons for thinking that they brought this on themselves?
Thank you, Alfred. My greetings once again to my brother, Daniel. It has been a long time. I have missed him so much on this platform. Most especially, he tries sometimes to be objective to the truth. That is one thing I really admire about him. And I hope my brother Kojo, from wherever he is, when he joins, will learn a few things from my brother Daniel to be objective sometimes. Calling a spade, not a big spoon. Alfred, I think we all saw this coming. We cautioned the government, but they were adamant in listening to a wisdom or voice of reasoning. They were, when we all saw it coming, that hey, the economy, the way things are going, we are going to the ditch. We were cautioning them. Everybody was holding forum and telling them, by looking at the figures, they were in a denial, saying that we are not going to IMF. Alfred, the situation we will find ourselves, I am not in any way trying to suggest that there is no global stress as far as economic is concerned. There is, but the situation in our country could have been better if the government did not go on a borrowing spree and also did not go on reckless by depleting our reserve when it was not supposed to be the case. When you look at sometime last year and then the beginning of this year, you notice that so much was released into the system by Bank of Ghana to make sure the cedi was stabilized. And they did this so recklessly that they did not think that the situation could get out of hand. Unfortunately for us, they were hoping that the market will continue to be open for them, and they were doing that without carelessly, without thinking of its ramification.
So they can get the annual $3 billion that they were borrowing.
Absolutely. So they did it, and then when they wanted to turn back to the market where they think they will find salvation, the market have been closed by because of the display of incompetent, reckless behavior they exhibited in the past. So if they had listened to the voice of wisdom, we wouldn't have been where we are today. I keep saying, and I have said it time and again, I will say it once again, that Ghana as a country is 65 years. NDC as a party have governed the nation more than any other political party. So when we talk of, we mention something or we come out with a caution or try to correct the government when they are off track, it is not that we wish them to fail, but it's because of our rich experience in governance, and because we have served, the party has been in government as far as the country life existence is, we have seen it more than every other political party.
Right.
It is out of those experiences that we come out with some of the things we'll be saying. But then, because of they not being, sorry to say that, they being so myopic, they always consider everything we say in a real political meaning to everything that we say, even though when we made the nation well.
Okay.
That is what has brought us to where we are.
Let me bring in Paul real quick to see what he thinks about that. Paul.
But in conclusion, I am not too sure these current people in the helm of affairs will be able to salvage us from the situation. It is still good the president listen to the voice of Ghanaians by doing away with the economic minister, the finance minister, replacing him, bringing people with fresh ideas into the table for them to turn things around. But if the same person will continue to be in an affair, then I don't think anything good will come out of, any proper solution will come out of. And I think UK have set an example. It is time we also learn a lesson from what they did by sacking their finance minister.
Let me pick from that last point that you just made, that the minister of finance being replaced is a good sign that things are likely to change. Paul, are you confident? Do you believe that the case that just by changing of minister of finance alone is likely to result in some solution to where we are currently?
Hi, Alfred. Good afternoon to you and to your listeners. I mean, unfortunately, there's a saying in our language which says that when your grandmother is dead and you come out to tell us that he's not dead and that your grandmother is in coma or she's sleeping, there will be a time that the body or the carcass will be thinking in a way that you can never or ever, be in a denial that your grandmother is not dead.
All right, Paul, can you show us your face, or you are in a bad place too?
I'm going to show my face very soon. I'm just logging on my computer, so let me be talking. That is the case of our brothers in government now. Look, these people, they started messing up the economy.
Okay, I think I lost Paul.
The country into a mess, and they refused to listen. I joined in the middle part of my friend Daniel's comment, and Daniel is trying to create impression that there's economic hardship all over the world, and that Ghana is not an exception.
But that is true, though. What Daniel said is right on the money, right? Because even in the United States, yeah.
Alfred, you are the host, so can you allow me to make my point? I know you will say is the truth. And nobody is denying that it's not the truth. It is the truth. But the question over here is that even though the whole world is facing economic crunch and difficulties are all over the world, look, Ghana has caused, or Akufo-Addo, Daniel and his government have caused this to themselves. And why am I saying so?
Why are you saying so?
If you play mischief, if you play propaganda, if you try to joke and then try to throw dust into the eyes of your people, try to create an impression as if everything is right, whilst things are not right, this is the end result of it. Now, our good friends in government has been blaming COVID. They've been blaming Ukraine-Russia war. And I'm here to know what is the next blame they're going to give. Look, Mr. Amuzo, I've stated it on this show. I was in Ghana during the 2020 election.
Right.
We went to help with the party work. And in my eyes, in front of me, at Circle O'Donnell, these guys were sharing money left and right.
When you say these guys, who are you referring to?
The NPP government, Daniel's party, they were sharing money left and right. They didn't know that all they were doing, the implication of it, that they are going to cause inflation to the system. Today, as we speak, inflation is 37%. Over a decade, it has never happened before. And you see, the reason why, people are telling us we cannot make this political, I disagree with them, is that at the time that we're leaving government, inflation was 15.5% or 15.7%. Daniel and his group made a lot of noise about it. So why are they telling us that as for Mahama, it was water that runs through him, but in Akufo-Addo, it is blood that's running through him. So we should, admit that there are economic difficulties. That's why inflation is going up and all the stuff. Look, let me tell you, in Africa, West Africa, Togo, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, Benin, all these people are part of Nigeria. We are all in the same enclave. Why are they also not facing the same difficulties? The short form of it is that we have bad leadership. Akufo-Addo is not in charge of the country. His finance minister doesn't know what he's doing. He's run out of ideas. They've borrowed and borrowed for consumption. And they were the very people who told us when they were in opposition that they're going to bring productivity into the system. Where is the production that they spoke about?
Right.
You see, we have to call a spade a spade. These people have caused Ghana to where it is. I am not on a single, point of view saying that there is no external factors. External factors are part of it. But also, let's also put it on record that today, as we speak, okay, Ghana manufactured crude oil. At the time that the NDC was in power, we're doing about 80,000 barrels a day. We worked on 2 other oil fields before we handed over in 2017, January 5th. We handed 3 oil fields to these people, and we're making over 181,000 barrels a day. Vis-a-vis, don't forget that we import oil. And when oil prices went up on the world market, over $100, the target that they set in the budget was 65. Correct me if I'm wrong. So all those windfalls, where is those money? Where are those money? I am saying over here on authority that the economy is where it is today because of the mismanagement of my brother Daniel, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Baumia, the finance minister, and all those people who call themselves "We Have the Men."
Okay. So you don't believe that changing Oforiatta would do anything?
My brother, whether they change Oforiatta or they don't change Oforiatta, these people have run off ideas. And I think it's even better for them to come and hire my brother Daniel. I think Daniel even have better ideas that he can even share and help them build the economy than what they are doing. Because these people have failed. They failed shabonically. They failed totally. There's no need for us to waste our time on these people because it's a disappointment that they are doing this thing to our country. Alfred, I said it on one of your shows that dollar will be going to 1:12, and it has gotten there. When dollar was $1 to 4 cedis, 20 pesos, My brother Daniel and Ifa and DC, Kojo DC, they were making noise. And we are incompetent. And we are this. We took the dollar from 1.1 and brought it to 4.2.
But why do you think it's going up? Do you think it's just I mean, Daniel had made some valid points here about with regards to what the US is doing. And of course, we are all somehow connected to the global economy, which
I'm telling you, my brother Daniel is just behaving like Dr. Baumia. Book knowledge is different from practical economy.
But this is reality, right? He's doing.
My brother,
aware that US has increased
my brother Fred. I am ever ready to debate my brother Daniel, even though I am not an economist. I know he has an economic background. I am ever ready to have a one-on-one debate with him. I am telling him in his face that he is behaving like Dr. Baumia, whereby they are using book theory. All what he was talking about was book theory, Master. He was just talking about book theories. On the ground, the economic management on the ground is different from the book theory. That is why when Dr. Baumia was in opposition, he was known to be the best messiah. And my brother Daniel's president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, stood on a platform and said that Dr. Baumia team. So how come that God has given him all the heavenly wisdom and our economy is where it is today? As we speak, our country has borrowed over 402 billion Ghana cedi.
Right.
Subtract 402 billion Ghana cedi from 120 billion Ghana cedi. And tell me how much they've added to the debt portfolio. Number two, as we speak, inflation is over 37.2%. Never happened over the last 20 years in the history of Ghana. Number three, Mr. Amusu, let me make my let me just say this thing, then you can ask me a question. Number three, as we speak, the dollar has never, ever gotten to where it is today. Today, when you send $100, I sent $100 yesterday through the what's the name? Waves or whatever they call it.
Right.
I got it around 10.7 Ghana cedi. But when you go to the forest bureaus, it's going for 12 Ghana cedi to $1. You see, when you play mischief, when you play propaganda, when you try to throw dust into the eyes of the good people of Ghana, just like my good brother Daniel and his government did, the consequence will come after you. Okay. And NPP is in this mess because of the lies, the misinformation, the distortion, the propaganda they played with the Ghana's economy. That is why we are here today. For the
let me interject with one quick data point for you, right?
Sure. Go ahead.
In May alone, the US interest rate, the Fed rate, right, was at 0.5 in May.
Yes.
As we speak, it's 3.5.
I agree perfectly. Ghana has also increased the interest rate. Ghana has done the same thing.
Yeah, but
we know. We know things are going high.
When the US is retaining 3.5%, that's huge. You know,
that is huge. I agree.
It kind of, has a huge repercussion across the world. Every economic fits impact. What we have discussed so far was that
the way your nose is shaking, I believe that Daniel has given you some money this afternoon.
Oh my
God!
To
defend him. I am saying.
What are you saying? I get bribes.
The way your nose is shaking,
No, I'm just being real, because this is what is going to happen, and this is going to be one of my next questions. Like, I wanted Daniel to come and discuss solutions, but there is a question I want to bring about
Daniel has no
what
solution.
The NDC would do in 2025, because the NDC chances are going to win. In January 2025, what would they say to the people? Because they're going to be inheriting.
I will tell you what we will tell the people.
Okay, hold that for me. Okay. But I want to bring Daniel in to kind of balance the conversation.
Okay.
And then when we come, you tell me what the NDC will say.
Before Daniel will come in, I can say it on authority and record that Daniel has no answers. He's come to give us book theory. Just wait and see.
Okay, let's listen to some of that theory. So Daniel, you've heard a lot. You're from your contact.
I think it's.
I want you to respond to those, but at the same time, I want you to kind of help me figure out how we would get out of this hole. Okay,
right?
Should we? Is the fact that we are now reshuffling, would that be helpful? Do we need to go back to some isolationist economic policies, like stop importing certain things, concentrate on homegrown solutions to our, tame our foreign appetites per se? Should we do that? Do you think that would be helpful?
Yeah, so let me make some admissions here. Yes, I mean, inflation is high. We know why inflation is high. It's one thing saying inflation is high, and one thing asking the question, why is it?
Right. Okay, I think Daniel is having some video problems. So,
okay,
Daniel,
sorry,
your video is in and out.
I'm trying to avoid it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Right. So what I'm saying is that yes, I mean, inflation is high. We know why inflation is high, right? Because we know that we are importing a lot of this inflation to begin with. And then secondly, I mean, if you look at the context of the global economy, inflation have peaked in most countries for the last 30 years. They've seen the highest inflation in the US, UK, all over the world. Inflation is a global enemy now. Central banks are trying to fight that inflation. So if Ghana's traditional was making inflation 15%, 17%, or so you were used to, and inflation in most other countries have increased by more than 100%, then if you're 30% within your context, it's normal, right? Because America was used to 2%, they are now at 8%. That is over 100% increment, right? Ghana, you were maybe at 7%, 11, 15%, you are 34%, another more than 100% increment. So if you compare across the globe like that, then your inflation is not surprising, given your context. You get what I'm trying to say? So, yes, there's a real problem here, and that is why central banks are in a very tight corner, because central banks thought they could use their monetary policy to do it. But unfortunately for them, while they are using their monetary policy, the US is already ahead, and they are doing catch up, right? For how long can you keep the rate going up in your economy to try and tame the outflow of dollars from your country because the US is increasing the rate? I think you can do it up to a certain point. Beyond a certain point, you cannot begin to match up again. You get what I'm trying to say? So real difficulties are coming. It's going to be hard. I'll tell people it's not going to be easy. There's some rough road to ride. The IMF is not going to permanently fix that problem for Ghana. They are only going to provide temporary support, like we all know. But the most important thing, how do we make sure that going forward we overcome it? That is why I've supported 1D, 1F. Because these things need to come on stream quickly to support consumption, like you were saying. You cannot just go and say, I'll ban import. If you ban import in the immediate time now, how are you going to replace those goods in your country for people? Here in Ghana, we import mostly everything. So you cannot in the immediacy say, I'll ban import. If you ban import, okay, good.
I mean, we're not saying across the board, right? I mean, look at specific products that we make in abundance in Ghana itself.
Okay, then that would be an optimal solution. If we have it in Ghana, then yes, you can go ahead and ban those ones just for now. And the other thing is that galamsey, if we are not careful, will compound our problems of food security. Right. And that will not be something that is caused by pandemic. That will not be something that is caused by any external pressure. That will be something that domestically is a domestic problem that we have caused ourselves, that our governments have not, been proactive or be effective at dealing with. So if the effect of food insecurity comes to Ghana, I'm not going to blame Ukraine for that. I'm not going to blame any external force for that. That will be a domestic problem that you have, sat down and watched and it's eating you up. And I think that is my fear, because if food insecurity becomes a problem, I can assure you, our people, there will be much bigger struggles. As for imported goods, if you don't get it, maybe you'll be like, okay, it's not coming. But in your own country, when you have the capacity and ability to produce something to feed yourself, and you can't do it because you have destroyed your own environment, then I'm sorry. And no mercy for the crippled. You have just harmed yourself.
What people are struggling with is that if you look at the United States, what actually caused the inflation in the U.S. is that the U.S. has done a lot of expansionary fiscal policies. In other words, during the pandemic time, they gave out a lot of money to the people, to businesses, to kind of help them sustain. But in Ghana, that was not the case. So, our inflation is more painful to the people than it is in the US. I don't know if that makes sense.
The cushioning effect. Yeah, in Ghana, when we spent in COVID and we bought some material, like you said, not many people, even the food that we shared, not many people got, like, it wasn't the whole Ghana who got the food. It was some selected vulnerable people who got food. Maybe water, yes, or shared among many people, that's fine. But even the way we spend in our economy, it cannot even be compared to the way the Americans spend to support their people in the economy, right? And it depends on your strength. We don't have the capacity to spend. And think about it. The unfortunate thing about our thing is that all these things happen within an election period. So you can imagine that because even though we're saying we're solving COVID, but if you watch carefully,
we had an election expenditure in
we some election expenditure that were going on in the name of COVID to some extent. So you see, if you want to be very objective,
what Paul is referring to as sharing money at Odogono.
Well, that could be some of it, but there's that Paul makes it look surprising to me. I've never seen an election where the government has not really shared any money in Ghana, and that is a big problem. Yeah, all government during election do the same thing, and then it comes back and it hands them in a very big way. We are trying now to tame inflation, down all. Those are real issues. And beyond COVID, Paul, I can assure you, when your next government, whenever they come into power, the next election when they're doing this same money sharing, I can go and bring you evidence. It will go on. Sometimes not because it is your government that deliberately put money out there. People have money that they want to spend to support that government because they know that if that government wins, they will, be known as having contributed and having played their part. It might sometimes not be coming from the government directly. Sometimes it might be coming from the government directly. So for that, I'm not going to sit here and say that is a lie, that is not a lie. It will be very unreasonable for me to know, the way I know Ghanaian politics, to sit here and think that in election, no government shares money or do some sort of, money sharing. That happens all the time. So what I'm saying is that the solution is going to be tough.
If you can transition to what do you think we should do? What should we do? How do we get out of this?
What we should do now is that we had a peculiar situation coming into before COVID hit us. And that is why I always say context and timelines are important.
Right.
Paul was mentioning Togo, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, they didn't have to do a banking cleanup like we did coming into COVID. They didn't have to do that restructuring like we were doing, going to borrow from the capital market and swapping our short term. They didn't do that, all that kind of.
Again, like they said, the banking, there were options, there were other alternative ways of resolving the banking sector.
Yeah, this is the dishonesty I've been talking about. This is the dishonesty I've been talking about.
I'm reading you. Just take note, please.
Okay,
let me make my point and finish. Of course, this banking crisis wasn't as if it started under MPP, right? The NDC was in power. They had the option of that solution that they prescribe now. They had all that solution. So you don't determine
That's what they were doing before you came in. That was what they were doing.
Whatever. So a new government comes here and thinks that he's going to do it a different way. The consequence thereupon should come upon that government. Whatever solution you choose, if it landed you somewhere that is not a good, pleasant outcome, it should be part of your policy outcomes, right? So you should take responsibility for that. So I don't run away from that. That was the option the MPP decided to take. If you think that option was bad and it has caused problems, point it out to the people and let them see the difference between the option that you were prescribing and the option that they are prescribed. And the Ghanaian people will make a determination that at the end of 2024, they'll be like, okay, we now believe the NDC that the option that they were prescribing would have landed in a better place. You prescribe a different option, and therefore we don't think that you did as good. We are going to, based on that, get you out. That is the importance of party politics, differentiating your position from your opponent and making the people believe in your position. Right. If you can't do that as a political party, then I'm sorry. You are digging yourself in the hole. So I don't take that away from the NDC. If you believe that that is a position you want to stand on, go ahead and share that position with the Ghanaian people and let them make a choice eventually to add up to the myriad of choices that they have to make, and they'll consider this as part of it. So for me, I'm not worried about that. The MPP will have to go and defend their position, whatever they did in the banking sector and however it contributed to this problem. It is for them to communicate that and differentiate their position from your position. So what I'm going to say is that, Amuzu, it's going to be a tough time. It's not, this particular era that we are in, and given what is going on around the global economy, we are in a very tight corner because we are very unfortunate that this thing is happening when many other things is happening globally. And therefore, attention might not be on us per se. You get what I'm trying to say? Attention is going to be focused on the big economies. Now, because of what is going on in Europe, the IMF is so much concerned about Europe. You get what I'm trying to say? So whether you're going to get that, dedicated time for you to help you fix your problem, I doubt. We'll have to do it ourselves. And some of the things we'll have to do is that the way we are importing inflation, because we are buying a lot of things from outside, is a lesson to us that, you see, if you don't fix your domestic economy, you don't fix your import-export balance, and you think that somebody's going to do that for you, I'm sorry. This should be a big lesson to both MPP and NDC, knowing that going forward, we need to think long-term to change that balance of, too much reliance on import. And we have to do the hard work. We shouldn't rely on providence or luck or think that some manner will fall and fix that problem. We have to be committed to domestication and doing the things in-house that will steer that balance for us, so that in case another pandemic hits us, the impact will not be as much as
you think a change in government might be perhaps the solution?
Change is always good, but like I said, that is dependent on the people, right? The Ghanaian people make that determination.
The Ghanaian people make that decision.
Whoever they vote for, that is their choice.
All right, cool. That's I mean, I like the candidness that you bring, you know. So for that spirited presentation. Now, let me know between the two comrades who wants to go first.
I want to let me submit and then
take it over, sir.
You see the dishonesty, okay? The dishonesty, the distortion, the misinformation.
But point to when you say
lack of credibility from our brothers.
Distortion, you can throw those words there without
pointing. I'm going to make a case. I'm Mr. Muzu. I am telling you that today I think you've been bought.
Hey, media every day. The MPP people will say I'm bought by the NDC. It's okay. That means
the way you're interjecting me is. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you have to have a one-on-one with me, is that the way you're going to interject me?
You? No.
Yes.
I will let you flow.
Okay, let me flow.
This is not that. This is combative debate. I want you to be strong.
So, I'm saying that the dishonesty, the lack of credibility, the distortion, the misinformation, visionless, aimless, and directionless of this government is what has taken us here today.
Okay.
You see, when my brother Daniel was talking, he said the NDC has caused the situation to where we are today. And he mentioned the banking cleanup sector.
Right.
Oh, let's put spade or call a spade a spade. A sector that we all knew before 2015, we did a thorough review of the banking sector. Under the leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And we knew that there were issues in the banking sector. That is why the then Minister of Finance, the level-headed brother, Setekpe, was liaising with the then Bank of Ghana. They started putting implementation and policies in place to help resolve the issue in the banking sector. At the time that they were coming in, there is a document, and Mr. Amuzu, you are aware of it, and my brother Daniel, I know he's a learned person, he knows of it. That suggests that with all those banks that were on their knees, okay, what the government could have done was to put 9 billion Ghana cedi into the banking sector, okay, to revive or to
recapitalize, sort of support them,
to revive and then get them off their knees. And all what the government was supposed to do after giving that 9 billion out was to appoint new management teams to take over those banking sector, give them tasks and give them goals to achieve. If they're not able to achieve it, they pay a penalty or you fire them. But my brother Daniel's government, the super incompetent, visionless, directionless, aimless government, decided in their selfish interest and greediness, wanted to cripple some of the businessmen who own the banks in Ghana, decided to close them down, and they used 21 billion Ghana cedi just to close these banks down. Now, let's be realistic. I know my brother Daniel is an economist. You are an accountant. I am an engineer. I deal with a lot of data, and I know how to mine data. It does not make sense if I call my 3-year-old boy and I tell him, if I give you 9 cedi to buy something and keep the thing, or I'll give you 21 cedi to destroy the thing and then start it all over again. Which one he will take? A 3-year-old boy, okay? A 3-year-old boy will tell me, Daddy, I'll go for the 9 cedis. So, if my brother Daniel will come and sit on this show this afternoon, this big platform that just hosted the USA chairman, one-on-one, to be lying and throwing dust into our eyes, I don't think it is right. The fact of the issue is that they are incompetency. The fact of the issue is that the lies they told the Ghanaians public.
But Paul, you still didn't addressed his point, which is that the rot in the banking sector happened under your supervision.
Mr. Muzu,
that was his point.
I think you are also not listening, and I will say it again. Maybe you have been bored today. I started by admitting that around 2015, we started doing some work in the banking sector. And we noticed there were issues in the banking sector. I just said that. And I also stated that we knew some banks were on their knees. And then we revived a document, and that policy document is there.
Right.
And Mr. Muzu, I know you know about that document.
Right. I mean, the 9 billion versus, yeah, I know that.
We all know about that document.
Right.
And the document, there was a laid down blueprint that we're going to follow.
Right.
If we have, I mean, and the 2016, if we have win the 2016 election, okay? Those were the policies we're going to implement. Just to save the banking industry, pumping 9 billion into it, giving them maybe 5-10 years, you get your money back. Look, in this America here, you and I knew, or we all know that a big bank in America was in a similar situation.
Yeah, in 2008, 2010,
the government of America or the American government did not allow those banks to close down. Right. What did they do? They injected money into it, brought new people to manage it, and they revived the bank. And that bank is one of the big banks that I believe Daniel even had a credit card with them. And
you're talking about Bank of America, too big to fail.
Thank you.
All right.
So
Okay, great.
Muzu, for Daniel to come and sit here and be telling us this evening on this big platform that the NDC calls it the banking sector, I beg him, he should never say this anywhere again.
I think I still understand what he says, though. What Daniel is saying is that it happened under your supervision.
Mr. Muzu, it happened under our supervision.
It doesn't mean that it didn't happen.
Muzu, it happened under our supervision.
Yeah.
We identified the solution. We find a solution where we laid down plans.
It shouldn't have happened in the first place. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. You were in government.
Mr. Muzu, you are the one who just told me in the US it happened.
Right.
The super power nation in the world, it happened. And what are you talking about, guys?
And that government lost power right after that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That is why we also lost power in 2016.
Right.
Because they told the good people of Ghana that they are the better managers of the economy.
Right.
Until we got to know that they are the COVID managers of the economy.
So your point is, yeah, you lost power because of that, and they didn't manage it well either. Okay.
It was something that Baomia was at going to, what's the name? What's the name of that university? Otabes University. What's the name of that university?
Central University.
Central University. You go and give lecture, and my brother Daniel will be clapping for him. He'll be making a lot of noise with it. Now, the reality is meeting them. You understand me? The reality is meeting them, and they are running away from it. So I beg Daniel, I mean, let's be realistic, let's be truthful. He's been truthful this afternoon in some aspect, but for him to make a wild and unsubstantiated allegation this afternoon to say that the banking sector has generated what is happening in Ghana today, I totally disagree with it. It is not true.
No, I didn't. What I was saying is that what fairness with our neighbors, and I'm saying our neighbors didn't face this issue coming.
They didn't have those problems in the past.
They have the problem that we have domestically coming into COVID. So we have bigger problems coming into.
But it doesn't mean they didn't have any other problem. They also have their own problems, right?
If he is worsening his situation, he's going to get me on fire more. Look, when COVID happened,
right?
Can Daniel tell us all here, sitting here, the money they got from World Bank, IMF, Bank of Africa, the SCOs, CSOs, and other resources from Bank of Ghana. Do you know the total amount of money you got to help resolve the COVID issue?
I thought they said 22 billion.
22 billion. Can you sit in here, tell me, or account to us how much money was spent? Don't even come to COVID, because that is why, for me, someone like me, there is nobody who will convince me and tell me that COVID has caused this thing. I will never accept it. The money that you guys got as a support to resolve the COVID issue has never happened in the history of Ghana. It's a fact.
All right.
But because you guys wanted to win election at all costs, you went sharing money, and I'm telling you, in my face.
Right. But also, he admitted that money was shared, but this is something every other government does. When the NDC was in power, they shared money.
It's not true.
It is true.
Not true.
I witnessed
the
some
NDC
before.
Don't share money like the way these people do. And
it's a degree.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also a fact that during the 2020 election, our deficit went to 15.7%, the highest ever in the history of Ghana, and he knows it's a fact.
And they didn't disclose that. Okay, good point so far, Paul. Let me see if the man in red can pile on.
I think my brother is sweating. If you can call for a backup, you should bring a backup. I might call DC.
We can do a fight today,
or Dr. Tuk to come and help you, because I am here for them. I am really on fire.
No, I think Chicago has a funeral, so we can't really deal with Chicago today.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So thank you for that spirited rebuttal of the government communicators' statements. What do you say to everything you've heard so far, Mr. Lifetime Legacy? Are you in Paul's camp? Do you think there's some big dust being thrown in your eyes today?
Alfred, sometimes my brother Daniel make debates so easy. I mean, his admission to certain facts makes it so easy to go on him when he finished his submission.
Right.
I'm glad he admitted that his party were so reckless in the 2020 election by doling out money. And he also admitted that it is not everywhere food was shared. And that is an honest admission for me, which makes it very difficult for me to debate him. But one thing I think he could have been more charitable was that the food even that was shared to his party members only. I was expecting my brother could have do us a favor by admitting to that one also. But notwithstanding, his admission alone make it so easy for him to be taken on. My question is, so is MPP trying to tell us that we are where we are because of only the banking sector crisis? Is that what they want us to believe? A banking sector crisis that they could have used 9 billion or a little over 9 billion to solve, but decided that they would rather run people unemployment, and out of selfish and parochial interest, decided that they will collapse the sector, which need 9 billion to be on its feet. They have ended up spending over 25 billion and still no results is coming. Are they still telling us that we are where we are today because of 22 billion? I doubt it. So I think MPP, the current MPP, have never admitted to any wrongdoing over the last 6-7 years that they have been in governance. They always find someone to blame for their failure. They always find excuse for their incompetence.
Right.
They always find excuse for their thievery. They are always find excuse, to one way or the other, to defend the indefensible. You get it?
Right.
So, my brother Daniel, yes, you have been honest with your submission, but I don't believe that the current economic situation in Ghana and the debt we have run ourselves into, it's because of the banking sector 22 or 25 billion. That has
I haven't said that. I don't think I said that.
Okay. So
I'm saying that what just to put it, I'm saying that let's put context here. Coming into COVID, we had some major domestic issues that we had to solve. That's what I'm saying. I was just making that point to let Paul know that Nigeria, Ivory Coast, and those other countries, they didn't have the same issues that we had coming into COVID.
By the way, Nigeria did banking sector cleanup as well.
Okay, they also did clean up as well. Okay.
Yeah, they did clean up.
And then in COVID, even the measures that we took in COVID,
Cote d'Ivoire failing economy, they were marifying IMF prior to COVID. So everyone has their own distinct,
exactly.
yeah.
So Alfred,
yeah.
Continue with my submission. That same COVID gave our government 22 billion. They are quick to talk about problem, but what benefit they got out of the problem, they are always silent on it. So let's assume you got a free money that you didn't expect.
Yeah, but in context, it's not as if when you got free money, everything else was moving, everything else was constant. Other things also went down. People didn't go to work for a year and they were being paid. Productivity went down, your GDP went down. So how are you going to raise revenue? In COVID period, who were importing? So
don't forget, I like the way we are going about it. Don't forget that.
If that was what you did with the money,
also gave you the opportunity, okay, to stabilize the economy. Because there was a growth. Even in your own report, even though COVID came in, your target was met.
No. What target? Let's be specific. That's the
target the government said for itself was met.
It was revised, though. It wasn't what was set prior. It
exactly.
They met.
So
right.
you see, when you say target, people think that, oh, you get more revenue than your expenses. Ghana will never have surplus in our budget. Our budget has always been a deficit. So when you say your target was met, in what context?
I am talking about the internal generated revenue
targeting. But that didn't make your budget a surplus budget. So what does that target mean?
I'm referring to
what it makes it surplus or not.
I am referring to the internal generated target, right? The internal generated target. That's what I mean. That the what do you call it? The revenue generation agencies within our country made it note to us that the target they set for themselves for 2020 or 2029, they made that target despite COVID.
Right.
You get it? Right. So it is time you guys notice that you've run out of ideas. It's time you guys know that, hey, the balls that you guys have thrown against the wall have bounced back to you guys. Okay. And the earlier the better you bury your pride and admit to your incompetency, the better for all of us. But if you don't find any reason to admit that you were at fault, you've run out of ideas and continue to find refuge in Ukraine, find refuge in COVID. The next thing that very soon will find refuge in the previous administration. We are yet to see what will come out next. The earlier, the better for us.
Okay, great. Wonderful submission so far. What I want us to do is kind of switch to our
sorry, I have to interject you. My brother Daniel also said something which for me, he's on point, but I think he could have done better by calling his government and his party force to order. The Galamsey thing he mentioned.
Right. No, so we would have a separate Galamsey conversation.
Yes. So my brother Daniel, you've made a valid point, but I think you are directing the points to a wrong platform.
But
please,
I believe what he was saying
please call your government and your party apparatchiks to order. What you have said, you are validly on point. That is the way to go. But I think
as part of talking about the solutions, and causing sort of import ban, which might create a food security, he's saying that we already have another security problem that we need to deal with, which is the Galamsey. And if that is coupled with, additional food security issues, then, we may probably blow up.
So that is what I'm saying. That I strongly agree with him.
Okay.
But on the issue of working on the Galamsey, I know he knows where those concerns should be sent.
Right.
I am glad he raised them, but I think he can do better. He can do more by calling his party apparatchiks, the party big wins, who even intend to slap the minister in the meeting. The earlier Daniel called those people to order,
right,
the better for all of us.
Okay, so let's go to talk about Miss Corinne Fuller Amayao. Miss Corinne Fuller Amayao happens to be a wife of one of us, Efa Amayao, who is one of our regular panelists, always here helping us. He lost his wife, I think, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And that is the beautiful lady you see there, Connie Fuller Amayao. So I want you to join me and the rest of our viewers to join us to memorialize her, pray for her, and pray for the family so that they'll find the strength to continue without their lovely mother not being with them. I think they together share about 4 kids, if I'm correct. I can be corrected. And as of today, I believe today is the funeral, and our brother is currently with the family burying his wife. So if there are any comments you guys want to share, I'll start with Paul Disosu. Paul has been instrumental in helping organize us on the Ghana agenda. We really appreciate that. Paul, do you want to have a few words for our brother Efa to strengthen him in this time of difficulty?
Well, this is a sad situation for me. Let me admit, over here, I'm sober over here, and it's a difficult situation.
Right.
I just want to say to my brother, God gives, God takes. It's happened. It's unfortunate, but it's my prayer that the good Lord will console him and the children. It's only God who can do that. None of us over here, or no human being on this earth, can replace the lost in their life. I pray for the mercies of God over the family, and I pray that God will strengthen them. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it to Chicago, but we know and believe that our colleagues over there, the 2 doctors, and Steve Day, and Ebenezer, and the rest who stand in for us, and then be with our brother. I want to also say that God should strengthen our brother Efa, because it's going to be a one parental control that is going to be under his roof. He's have to single-handedly bring those kids up. We pray that God will give him that strength, and may God bless him. Thank you.
May God bless him and may his soul rest in peace. So let me go to my brother Dan. Dan, do you have a few words for our lovely wife as she get laid to rest today?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a tough one. Paul has said it all.
Right.
And I think he's our chief mourner when it comes to this particular, situation.
Right.
So it's tough. But what I always pray and ask God is that death is inevitable, right? We will all one day make that journey, no matter what. Right. But I pray that the time that it comes, if it comes for everybody, you should be in a better place where you can, take all this in, If you're not in a better place and it hits you, it compounds your problems in life, right? And it can make it much more difficult going forward. So it's inevitable. We'll all go through it. Will happen at one point in time. It's a reality of our existence. We can't run away from it. But we always pray that, hey, whichever day it comes, at least we are prepared. It shouldn't take us by, some storm, and then it leaves behind other misery that we'll have to deal with. You get what I'm trying to say?
Right.
So it's not a good time for Ifa. I don't think it happened the right time, because, like you said, they have 4 kids. They're still going through raising these kids. They have nowhere to say we are retired. We can leave these kids to be on their own, and then we can enjoy our life. And it didn't happen around that time. Some people take care of their family, their children. They grow up, and then at that point they are done. They're just waiting on when the Lord will call them. I don't think this was the situation she found herself, and unexpectedly she's gone. So it's sad. We can only mourn with Ifa, our brother Maame Ifa, and say that he should be strong. But we know that the good Lord will keep him, and then that this too shall pass. And we pray that whatever she left behind, does not continue to be in disarray, but it's kept, in a way that doesn't bring much more hardship to I mean, her legacies and stuff.
Right.
So, brother, family, wherever you are, today we couldn't make it to Chicago, but we are new in spirit. And I think that we are all on this program wishing our condolences again. And we are saying, may our dear soul sister rest in peace. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. Lifetime legacy.
Alfred, this is a very sad moment for a friend to have to go through a situation like this. Couple of months, I think sometime where July, I had opportunity to meet a 511 in Chicago. We had a good time, and at least expected that today we all be on this platform to mourn with him of the loss of the wife. It's a very, very sad situation, very difficult one for a young man like him to go through at this material time. What also saddened my heart is that in life in general, or as far as those of us in diaspora is concerned, is as the accounts will say, then something like this will happen in a situation or in a place where there is no immediate family members to hold you up. I mean, this is a very difficult situation.
Right.
And I wish my brother the strength, God should give him the strength to be able to withstand this. It's a situation I don't wish for anybody.
Right.
And at this material time, we are with him in spirit. I put in a VTO. I was expecting that it to be granted. Then I'll be able to
make it
at least 3 hours there, but it was declined.
Are you in Chicago?
No, I'm in Indiana, and it's just about 3 hours drive to.
Okay.
Yeah, it was declined, so I have to go to work tonight. Other than that, I would have joined him over there. Notwithstanding, as the accounts normally say, so I posed a question on the platform, but I'm yet to get an answer. Coordinator, please, I need. I'm not on Zelle, so if I get anything,
we'll take that behind the scene.
Yeah. So all that I will say is that my heart is with him. At the appropriate time, I'll come and see him one-on-one so that we have a chat. May the Lord grant our sister a peaceful and eternal rest.
Thank you. All right, guys. We'll end this program on that note. Thanks for joining us.
Before you go, how is school treating you?
It's kicking my butt. That's all I can say for now. But I'll call you and we'll chat about that. All right.
We need some experience from you guys who have been able to endure the education toughness in this country. Myself, it hasn't been easy for me this semester.
Yeah.
So,
ask Paul.
Some of us are willing to learn from you.
Paul is a senior. Ask him.
Well, if you don't want the life, start some type of degrees. They take your life away from you. So anyway, all right, guys, thank you so much. We'll be back
anyway, because of Daniel and then some few people I may see, or I'll be thinking if I have to get back to the law school because I have to do law.
But I'm not a lawyer.
Come on, we need that. We need.
I think this platform, regardless of the political, what do you call it, back and forth, it's also a platform that can challenge individual to bring out their best in them. And for me, like my senior comrade had said, it's also a platform that challenges each and every one of us to.
Paul, because of you, I want to do IT. I'm doing Oracle database. Learning. He's running away from you. But Paul, the only advice I can say is let the kids grow up a little bit so that, because you'll be gone for some time. You wouldn't have time for nothing.
The advice is well taken. After maybe after I've become the secretary of the US, if God permits, and I hand over, I'll go.
God bless.
I just want to declare over here on this your station this afternoon
Right.
That if nomination are open, or the open nomination for the USA Chapter Secretary, I, Paul Kwame Delali Disoso, will put myself out there for election. And if I win,
Paul, do you know Justice Tete?
Oh, first of all, we have to celebrate that. Hey, Paul has declared his candidacy on the platform.
Yes,
and that is wonderful. So, of course, when that time comes, we will all be in support of you.
Yeah,
And
NDC USA has some bright people like, I think Paul. There's this other guy called Case Limote. There's Justice Tete. There's some other
join
justice.
them. You can.
So, I read. I think Daniel could have said it in a more more better way. That NDC always have the
men.
You get it. but to point it that NDC have some few. No, I don't think you are being fair to us. We have the men. We have the men who are in trousers, not in skirts.
Your men, they are not vocal. They are quiet and they are out there thinking that the quietness will do the work. The quietness don't do the work. They have to be out there.
I think they work so hard behind the scene. They don't themselves as much as they do.
My good friend Daniel, even though when I'm on heat, I am on you. I hope you guys can talk to Alfred, who has been paid by the NDC, that I have declared my intention of contesting for the NDC USA Secretary, and the right thing need to be done by granting me interview.
Sure.
Come on.
Let me add my voice to my senior community declaration.
Right.
I think I had known him first of all from this very platform.
Right.
Aside that, we've met on 2 or 3 occasions, and I think he's also a wonderful gentleman to hang around with. I think the first time we met was, I think, in Ohio, and also Chicago. Yeah, I think he's also a nice gentleman. The party needs the likes of him.
Is that I'm a firebrand.
The party
Obi have to host you on Asempa for you to.
Of course, if Obi gets to know this, I know he's going to try to host me.
Yeah.
I mean, the right thing to be done first. I want to start at home.
So I think,
at
this material time, as an insider who probably a lot of people will be coming to me for probably a vote or otherwise. What that I will use the platform to say is that I wish him well, but he's a fine gentleman. I have met on him on.
I just hope you vote for me. You should not just reach me; you should vote for me.
I have met him on 2 occasions, and he's a wonderful guy to hang around with. As for the rest, we will do it behind the scene.
No problem. So, Paul, for me, of course, you are a wonderful person. I would say that my favorite position for you would have been the spokesperson, for the party in the US, but secretary,
communications director or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, because I need you the forefront doing a lot more talking versus taking notes,
Mr. Muzo,
are you in any way suggesting that will probably relegate him behind the ground?
No, I admit that. I mean, when you are talking about one of the few people who have been upstanding for the party since we went to opposition from 2016 to the date, I've always been on radio stations in Worcester, all over. People call me. I speak for the party with passion, with love. With honesty and respect. I'm just putting on record in case I'm able to sell through as a secretary. I'm not going to get myself out of this platform. I am putting the promise here that I'll still be part of this platform, because that is where I'll even be more committed to get on this platform and rain fire on my brothers in the NPP.
But Amuzu, it's the communication
fire. We want solutions for the country. Okay.
Daniel will say something.
Daniel, go ahead.
No, I just forgot. I think NDC, a communication director, is not appointed. It's
a communication officer.
Communication. Okay.
Communication officer.
Is it appointed? It's not appointed, right? That is voted.
No,
for, right?
Communication officer, you have to go for election to be elected.
Okay.
But the communication director is appointed at the national head office. So as we speak, at the party head office, we have a communication director. That is lawyer
Samuel.
Is that someone?
Kakra
Samoa. And then our communication officer is Comrade Sami Jemfi. So for the communication officer, it's a position you have to contest for. But the director of communication is an appointment made by the party hierarchy.
Okay, how about the chapter level?
The chapter level, we don't have, there's nothing like communication director. What is communication officer, and people will be vying for it, and whoever wins become the next communication officer who will speak for the party. But I promise you, if I'm the chief executive officer of the party, if God permit and God allow, this is not a do and die affair for me, though. I mean, so let me put that record straight. If I go through the contest, it's a democratic contest. If I go through it and I win, I am ready to work to bring change, to rebrand the US.
Okay, I think you are jumping ahead of the one-on-one, so you might want to say.
Thank you very much.
Let's get out of here. It's getting about 3 hours already. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate you for coming today. All right, that's been our show. We'll see you next week. If it is Saturday, it's gonna agenda time. We'll be all. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye-bye.